Hello people, I'm Ginnymetheral and welcome to my channel concerning all things witchy and all things occult. Now, you probably think, who is she? Well, I am a multi-generational witch, and so although I don't claim to know absolutely everything, I do know a bit. I hope you enjoy this, as this is my February Almanac video. So this is part of my monthly Almanac series, looking at all things that you can do on which particular days in February for witchcraft. And let's face it, with all the snow outside and the cold and the wet, we're going to be doing a lot of indoor witchery this month because, well, no, you can go outside, but it's bloody cold at the moment. You can probably see, if I breathe out, can you see my vapour? Because I'm missing my herbs and my plants that I normally use, especially throughout the summer months and well into autumn for my everyday witchcraft, I'm going to give you a little rose lip scrub spell, which is for love. And we'll get into why love is so great in February. Now, the Romanies, the gypsy culture, know February as the little black month. This is possibly referring to the blackness of the days in the darkest months of winter. February does incorporate the first day of spring, and this can be shown no better than by the beautiful snowdrop bowing its head in the wind and sitting amongst the snow of the earth. And the snowdrop is obviously a sign of purity and rejuvenation. So I'm going to start this video by running through each day of the month with some little tidbits about what you should do and any witchery that you can carry out on those special days. The 1st of February. Now, all you Wiccans out there will know full well the 1st of February is the festival of Imbolc. It starts on dusk of the 1st of February and finishes at dusk on the 2nd of February. And with these cold winter nights, it's about 2 minutes. However, this is the first day of spring for the Wiccan religion. It is primarily a purification and a cleansing ceremony. And in fact, the root of the name February, which comes from the Latin, actually means purification. So February has been taken by many cultures as a start of the year in cleansing and cleaning and purifying before you begin your ploughing and your seeding and your sowing. We don't just talk about the purification of the body, there's the purification of the lands and the fields. And the peasants of the old days would carry flaming, smoking torches through their fields, carrying them aloft in order to cleanse and purify their land before the plough. They would also cleanse and purify their plough. And this is normally with some whiskey poured onto the plough or whatever moonshine that they preferred. Personally, I'd do it with gin, but that's because I like gin. Imbolc reveals the ever-increasing strength of the sun and also celebrates all things lambing and sheep. Eating sheep's cheese or eating lamb at this time is part of your cleansing ceremony. Possibly the word Imbolc comes from the Gaelic meaning use milk, because this is the time of year when finally, after the long dark days of winter, we can get a little fresh milk and butter and cheese and curds and start the dairy process throughout the year. And this would have been so welcome at this time of year because, quite frankly, February was always known as the hungry month. In honour of this day, if you are not a Wiccan, such as myself, I'm going to show you a little purification ritual that you can do on the 1st to cleanse yourself and your home. Firstly, you must take some moon water and pour this moon water over your hands for purification and cleansing. Now you need a smudge stick. Mine's a bit old, as you can see, it's a bit thin, isn't it? I've had it for a long time, but you know, still being strong. Take your smudge stick and then use it to smudge first of all yourself. Give yourself a good smudge the whole way round, and then take your smudge stick and smudge it round your property. Corners in a house often hold a lot of negativity, so make sure you smudge right into the corners. It will therefore give you a nice ritual purification and cleansing. If you would like to join my coven, we will be doing some Imbolc rituals around the end of the first week of February. And so there is still time for you to join in the coven and have a look and see if you would like to have a go. Just look at my Patreon page. It is patreon.com/Ginnymetheral for details. Candlemas for witches is a feast of lights. It was often celebrated by the head of the coven, taking a lit candle at the head of the procession, the coven behind her, and they would all process to the holy or sacred place. Often this would be the holy well. There they will perform a ritual fire lighting ceremony, and each witch or warlock would light their torch or lantern or candle or whatever they brought with them from the single flame held by the coven head. It's a sweet ceremony actually, and it's something that you can do in your own home on the 2nd of February, is just to light some candles and welcome the advent of the sun over the land. Candlemas still celebrates the end of winter and the start of spring, but it was also the time for witches when their sproul, their power, their energy was reinvigorated. And this was when their clientele would bring forth their poppets or their old charms to be re-energised by the witch. Candlemas was that ceremony. This is a great day to do or create a charm ritual. And if you haven't seen my charm video, I'll put it up in the corner for you. So do watch that, because that's wonderful to do on the 2nd of February. New charms were also sought at this time of year because it was considered the time when a witch's energy really comes into its own and she is at almost the height of her power. Candlemas was also traditionally the time when all the greenery that you had decorated your house with over Christmas was taken down and burnt. Now, I've already done this. I don't really like having the dried out sprigs of ivy and holly hanging around my house. So I've actually already ritually burnt mine. Burnt mine, it wasn't even ritual, I just threw it on the bonfire. If you still got some Christmas greenery hanging around, take it down now and burn it. And this is a great day to do so. It's celebrated by the great Robert Herrick. Do you remember the 17th century poet who wrote that "Gather ye rosebuds whilst ye may" fame? And he wrote this poem: "Down with the rosemary and so, down with the bays and mistletoe, down with the holly, ivy, all, wherewith you dressed the Christmas hall." And of course he's saying, take down your greenery, burn it, because it's Candlemas. So moving on. 11th of February, this is the new moon of the month, and the new moon is in Aquarius. With the moon being in Aquarius, it means it's a real trail-blazing time. So if you've been sitting on some pretty out there ideas, now is the time to go for it. Get your ideas going. You can be as out of the box as you like, because this is the date to start that fantasy and make it come reality. Now we get to the 14th of February, which everybody in the world knows as St. Valentine's Day. Now you can go and look up who St. Valentine was, you know, a nice Christian saint in Roman times. He lived in Rome. He doesn't really have much bearing on this video. However, his birthday was annexed, obviously, again by the Christians, from the pagan, because the 14th of February is considered the day that the birds start their mating. The dawn chorus, if you should listen out of your window as the dawn is breaking, is at almost its peak at the moment. They are singing their little hearts out, and I live in a wood, so I hear the dawn chorus. They wake me up every morning. It's absolutely wonderful. I adore listening to the tweeting of the myrtle thrush, the wonderfulness of the blackbirds singing their hearts out. Brilliant stuff. I love a dawn chorus. It comes to fruition on the 14th of February. Now, the 14th of February has got a lot of traditions. The sensible Danish people give away to their loved ones snowdrops, that beautiful flower of purification, cleansing and chastity. Now, St. Valentine's Eve is when the wonderful Welsh would give out their valentines, and the traditional Welsh valentine is a love spoon. I've got one here. It was given to me on the occasion of my marriage, which is the other time that you would give love spoons out. And it is possibly my most treasured possession, as it reminds me of everybody that I love the most. So the 14th of February, of course, brings to mind love for the year, and February is seen as a month where love for the year starts. Now, I've done a couple of love spells before, so I'll put them up in the corner here for you to have a look at if you'd like to do a love spell. But otherwise, I thought I'd give you just a couple of things: a traditional divining spell to see if love's going to come your way, and then a little attraction spell for those of you who want to do a bit of come hithering. So the first one is a very traditional love spell, and you just need 5 bay leaves. And I've got some dried bay leaves here, and you simply put them under your pillow before you go to bed, and then that night you will dream of your future partner. You might not remember the dream. That's the trouble with dreams, is they're quite difficult to hang on to, aren't they, in the morning? So do think before you go to bed, oh, I'm going to dream of my future partner, and you'll probably get a better image. So good luck with that one. And the second one is for some luscious, kissable lips. And it's a little Ginny spell for men and women to look at your luscious lips and make them a little more kissable. So for this spell, we are going to use beeswax for strength, beauty and love. Brown sugar brings sweetness and attraction. Almond oil, being ruled by Venus, for love. And rose oil, again ruled by Venus, brings love and luck. Place 2 tablespoons of almond oil in a small pot to heat. I don't have one small enough, so I'm having to place it inside my cauldron. Next, add in a small piece of beeswax, approximately 3/4 of a tablespoon, into the mix to heat and melt. Once the mixture has melted together, take it off the heat and let it cool slightly, continuously stirring to ensure an even distribution. Next up is your rose oil. You must add a minimum of 10 good-sized drops, but more may be required depending on its strength. As the mixture cools, it thickens beautifully, and it is at this point that you will add in your sugar. I have added to the mix about 3 good large sprinkles, maybe a bit more because it does melt in, and stir it in well. Test the mix, and if it hasn't got enough rose oil or sugar, now is the time to add some more. Bottle the mix in a clean, sterilised bottle, and this rose scrub will now last for several months. So on the 18th of the month, the Moon and the Mars are in quite close proximity, which means that Mars, its celestial orb, has power over the Moon. Now, as we all know, the Moon has power over the Earth's waters, tides, etc., amongst other things. And so this day, we're going to expect to find that the Moon is influenced by Mars. Therefore, this is a great night to make moon water. It is not a full moon by any stretch of the imagination because the full moon comes later in the month. However, if you just leave the water out for moon water on the 18th, you will not only have the benefit of the moon bringing its power to your moon water, but Mars as well. And this gives added strength and vitality to your moon water for use in your spells. Just leave your moon water out on a windowsill or outside preferably so that the moon's light can get to it. Ask the moon to please bless your water with its power. And then in the morning, voila, instant moon water. Now this week that ends on the 19th is actually the week of the Christian festival of Lent that starts on the Wednesday, which is Ash Wednesday. Week starts with Merry Monday, obviously, and then the marvellous Shrove Tuesday. I don't know what Shrove means, but it does mean that you make pancakes on Shrove Tuesday. Of course, Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. Thursday is Fritter Thursday. Fritter Thursday. Why? Anyway, make some fritters on Thursday. However, the one I like is Friday, is known as Kissing Friday. So I suggest you use your rose lip scrub for Kissing Friday. Maybe this traditional Kissing Friday is just referencing the fact that February is the start of the season of love. Finally, on the 27th of February, which is the nice end of the month, we have the full moon. Now, because this is the start of the season of love and the season of rejuvenation and cleansing and purification, this is a brilliant day to do a drawing down the moon ceremony. It is a very uplifting ceremony, and quite frankly, there's nothing more joyful than feeling the light of the moon on your face. Hopefully, it'll be a clear night, but here is my drawing down the moon ceremony. The ritual can be performed inside or outside, depending on your stamina, but or how good you are at cold. It doesn't make much difference whether you do it inside or outside. The spell still works the same. However, it will take a little more time because you're getting indirect energy from the moon as opposed to being outside in the moon's vision. So drawing down the moon spell is very simple. Simply cast a circle, stand within your circle, take your wand, point it directly at the moon, and then say this spell 3 times. I call upon the spirit moon and ask to bring down your power. Let all your light shine upon me in this, your brightest hour. Say that spell 3 times and feel the energy of the moon coming down. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to check out my Patreon page for the details for the first coven meeting, which I'm really excited about, is on there. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one.